This is big as things are heating up around the Phoenix Suns in that trade market, revolving around that one name we all know in Jimmy Butler. We got some new news revolving around that and Mat Ishbia. Plus, the owner of the Suns does something absolutely amazing in this Suns franchise that we're going to be diving in and exploring, in which he could be setting a pivotal mark for other owners to take over as well. We'll be diving into all of that and more on this episode of Suns Digest. I'm Bruce Velez. Without further ado, let's dive into the video at hand. Make sure to grab a snack. In the first part of this video, we're going to go over some new trade updates as Jimmy Butler's name has been thrown around this Suns atmosphere for the last couple of days. So we're going to dive in and go into all of it. Now, if you missed yesterday's video, you can go check that out, as in that video, I went over the possibility of Jimmy Butler being a preferred destination alongside the Golden State Warriors, which was announced by Shams. I also went over a possible option of a contract, as Jimmy Butler is possibly going to be opting into free agency regardless. So if the Suns do make a move for him, they could have to look at a 4-year, 3-year, $100 million deal around that range. And I also went over some other things revolving around Jimmy Butler and these insane reports around him. But we got some more news and some new stuff as well. So let's get into all of that. First, from Evan Cedery, who we've been seeing put out a bunch of stuff regarding around Jimmy Butler, he tells us that the Suns prepared to pursue Jimmy Butler, which we know. Bradley Beal's contract has another issue that originally scared off some interest teams in 2023, which is that no trade clause, which we've also broken down on this channel before. Bradley Beal has this no trade clause, therefore it is going to be a tough piece to move off of for the Suns in this market due to the fact that he's making $50 million. If we want to look at the Suns roster here, if I can pull that up real quick for you guys, we can see that if the Suns want to acquire a player in Jimmy Butler who makes $48 million, they would have to move off of one of their three players, Durant, Beal, or Booker, because the Suns are in the second apron. And if you want to know about the second apron restrictions, you can check out our other previous trade videos, because I've went over that as well. But also, Bradley Beal is kind of the odd man out. Durant has been the MVP. Suns have been hurt. When he's playing, they're 13-2. Devin Booker, he's had a little bit of a slow start, but obviously with playing alongside Kevin Durant, he can be that second star. And I do think them going out to acquire a player in Jimmy Butler could be that move to push them over the top. There's obviously just a lot of implications and a lot of questions, like Cedery mentioned. Obviously, the Jimmy Butler wanting to get this deal done. Also, if Bradley Beal wants to go to Miami, which Riffer Jefferson brought up, which we also covered in the last video, all those are obviously up for interpretation. But if we want to look at FanDuel Sportsbook, they had some great conversations about it as well, where Michael Phelps talks about Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and his hometown Phoenix Suns making a move for Jimmy Butler, saying that Jimmy Butler is a kind of a bulldog out there and he will fight. I think that's what we need. And I would agree Jimmy Butler would be that perfect fit to fit in. We don't need that many shot creators. We already have those in our guard room with Tyus Jones, with Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal is an extra one of those. He also says, no disrespect to Bradley Beal, it's just not a good fit. Jimmy Butler is a better fit next to Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. And this was from Boogie Cousins, who also said that the Phoenix Suns should have already traded for Jimmy Butler buckets. And I understand that obviously these players are saying that they should go trade for him, but it's a lot harder than it obviously is. One, the Suns feel confident with Bradley Beal on this roster that they still can be competitive. We saw for the reports from Gambo, which we've also broken down on the channel, that Gambo said the Suns don't want to make a move unless it's going to take 10 to 15 games. So the Suns are going to analyze this roster, kind of figure out what's going right and what's going wrong. Do they need to make a move on the big three? We've seen Bradley Beal been out with some knee swelling, obviously. Is that preparation for a trade? Is that in preparation for a bigger move? We'll have to find out the answers. Ultimately, at this point, Jimmy Butler would be an upgrade. He would be a better player. He would be a better fit. But he is 4 years older at 35 compared to Bradley Beal at 31. And if the Suns are banking to get Kevin Durant to sign, if they want to pursue a deal with Jimmy Butler, that would make sense. But ultimately, the one real question that comes down to all of this is if Jimmy Butler does come, if he does sign this long-term extension, if he does stay with this team, what is the overall path for this squad? We know Tyus Jones with this big three, insert another center in for Nurkic, with Royce O'Neal, with Grayson Allen, could be a comparable team in the Western Conference. But how long is that going to last in a West that is getting better by the day? Ultimately, I do think the Suns would be able to compete with this roster. But like we said, we have to wait and see what the news goes down and what breaks down with it. We still have to wait for these evaluations. The Suns have played 2 games since the news of Jimmy Butler, so maybe they wait 8 to 12 more games to finally make a move, or will they make a move before that? Let me know in the comment section down below. Ultimately, I think the Suns will keep pursuit in Butler, but I don't necessarily know that it's going to be a right-away move with the Suns. But let's get into the meat and bones here of the video. We're talking about something very important of the Suns doing today and with Mat Ishbia, as this is absolutely amazing. As Mat Ishbia went out and did some fantastic work with the Phoenix Suns, and we need to break it down. He set a little bit of a precedent here. As he explains that winning starts with our fans. When I walk through the concessions at games, there aren't food options for families who don't want to spend a lot of money, and that needs to change. So today, we're rolling out our $2 value menu for all home Sun games. If we want to look at this menu, we can see that everything on this menu, from a hot dog to some bags of chips to some regular fountain sodas, is all going to be $2. And this is absolutely fantastic by Mat Ishbia and the Suns. And I think he's setting a precedent for other owners to kind of see. We already know Mat Ishbia cares about the Phoenix Suns community. He cares about this Phoenix Suns organization. He's want this team to be put in a right direction to win, and he's instilled that since he has been the owner. He went and got Kevin Durant. He went and got Bradley Beal, even if Bradley Beal wasn't the best move, and he's still trying to upgrade the roster, like we said, breaking down earlier in the video, talking about going and trying to get Jimmy Butler and trying to make some other moves around the edges. And we know the Suns are going to be active. We know the Suns are a team that are going to be interested in some deals, but everybody needs to know that Mat Ishbia not only is doing that on the court, trying to get the Suns their best products, but is also doing stuff for the community as well. He's offering tickets for fans, flying them out to his suite, which we've seen. And we also want to give a shout out to Kenyan Suns fan over here in Ciro, who has been lucky enough to kind of receive a DM. Hopefully, if he gets his trip from Kenya to Phoenix contributed to with the donations, he'll be able to. I will link that down below in the description if you guys want to help contribute to that. But he's been an absolute Phoenix Suns fan. But Mat Ishbia is doing stuff like that for people that aren't in Phoenix, trying to get him here. He's lowering concession stands, and I think this is a precedent for the league to see. I think that there's other owners around the league that have a lot of money that could help out the fans, help out the community, and make it more accessible for families to attend games. We already know the ticket prices are absolutely outrageous for these types of contests, but the ability that Mat Ishbia is lowering the concession stands, making it cheaper, even if it was by teams on select nights, say Friday nights, the tickets are the concessions are half off, or even during the week the concessions are half off. That is something to incentivize the fans, something to make them want to go see your team, regardless if you're a Washington Wizards where you're at the bottom of the East. Fans will have a purpose to go to your games, and I think that this should be something instrumentalized through the NBA. Maybe starting off in some of these, I wouldn't call it small market, but Phoenix isn't one of the bigger markets in obviously the NBA. In recent years, it obviously has been, but overall, in a grand scheme of things, it's not one of the biggest markets. So having Phoenix and some of these other kind of smaller markets kind of experiment with doing this, I think could set a, like I said, huge precedent for what these owners could do and the ability for what these owners can bring for the fans. Like I said, Mat Ishbia, this is just the beginning of what he's doing for the changes in Phoenix. Giving fans tickets to his suite, having fans trying to get fans from other places to visit their games, having concession stands off. This is what you want to see, and I'm absolutely ecstatic that the Suns owner is valuing the fans, as they are the ones that make the organization the money. If the fans aren't there, if the fans aren't buying merch, if the fans aren't supporting the team, Mat Ishbia is out on money, so he's doing everything to capitalize with the fans, and I think that's the best for the organization, the best direction that they can show. And like I said, I think this is going to be a building block for other owners to kind of reciprocate or even kind of do their own little twist on helping out the fans. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Like I said, we went over some Jimmy Butler news. We went over the fantastic stuff that Mat Ishbia has been doing in the Suns organization as well. Like I said, leave your comments down below. Let me know what you guys ultimately think. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Have a great rest of your day. Peace out and go Phoenix Suns.